What up? It's Casper. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the third season, episode 4 of Tulsa King. The third season, episode 4 of Tulsa King is called Staring Down the Barrel. It's 39 minutes, directed by Kevin Dowling. We're here on episode 4, and right away we see how Dwight is very upset with Tyson, and the whole gang is there, but how the scene was kind of set up with Dwight basically telling his gang like what happened. One thing about that scene is you can definitely see that Dwight has a very soft heart for his own people, and it shows in the lines as well that they're a family. But overall, on like some straight mafia stuff, it would be very insane to actually know, like, if something like that happened, what would a real mafia boss actually do to one of his people for actually kind of like snitching in a way. This episode opens up with Dwight talking to the whole gang and letting them know, like, let's just stay on point, let's stay focused. Dwight is giving Tyson a chance to kind of redeem himself. Tyson is in his head a little bit on just trying to get more revenge because kind of disappointed on what just happened to him. This episode is basically the whole process of redeeming the bourbon that got stolen, and Tyson is helping that scenario become a lot more of a reality to get their stuff back. His dad gets involved, and that was pretty cool to see more of his acting. Michael Beach in this episode, who's Tyson's dad, who's Mark. Son and father conversation was something really cool to see in this episode. The writing in that scenario actually fit the characters. When this episode was finished, a lot of the stuff that I saw in this episode made me realize that last episode, episode 3, was a more for sure of an error episode. With Agent Musso getting a lot of screen time in the last episode, one thing I didn't mention in the last review for episode 3 was there was moments between Dwight and Agent Musso along the car ride where they were trying to make Agent Musso look a little bit like he's hilarious, like he's comedy. He has that funny side of him, but it kind of threw me off. But it was one of those things after seeing this episode, it was like a for sure certain to know that the writing in episode 3 with the chance on trying to make Agent Musso a funny character with funny lines didn't really fit his character. I think it should just straight up just be straight FBI. Dwight has that weight on his back, which is Agent Musso, and just leave it like that. The funny lines and the humor of what Tulsa King brings is definitely more better to see it with the gang, and especially with Bodhi, because Bodhi has that smart ass attitude, that know-it-all look in his face that just makes it look funny. Funny side of the lines shine a lot with his character. Bodhi has a lot of screen time in this episode as well because they're doing a lot of stuff on trying to expand the bourbon business. The lines with Bodhi in this episode were very funny. His interaction with Bill's people in this episode, that was pretty funny to see, and that was something where I'm like, that actually fit a lot. That's actually the funny side that I don't mind seeing in this Tulsa King, because it kind of relaxes you while watching this show, especially with a lot of corruption and crazy out of nowhere moments. Every character that had their screen time in this episode, all their lines were hitting. This episode gave me that rush where I was literally expecting from the start of this season, and I'm like, okay, here we go back again where we're gonna expect more great things. To add on to just how great the writing is with this episode, let's go back to Bill. Bill is back in this episode. Bill pulls up, he's figuring out what happened. Now Bill and Dwight are gonna go figure out some things on their own to definitely get this bourbon back, because, you know, Bill is now involved with the bourbon business with Dwight. Frank Grillo in this episode, man, awesome acting. That look literally showed that he is a boss on his side. Just like how a lot of these bosses, when they show up, you know that these are the bosses. Definitely levels to it. Episode really showed those levels, really showed the real personality, the real authentic stuff that you would want to see. So if I could, so much good stuff to see in this episode that made me want to give episode 3 just a ranking lower. Not too dramatic, but definitely, since I gave that last episode an 8, I'm going to change my rating on that and give it a 7. Continuing on with this episode, Bill showing up was just straight badass awesomeness. This dude out of nowhere kills somebody in this episode. You can feel his character being like, dang, that was wow, that was very intense. Bill gets involved a lot in this episode. That's literally giving the anticipation ride on his side of him being a boss a crazy outlook right now. So I can't wait to see what he's gonna get involved with, because we have another boss who is literally hearing things from afar. That's Quiet Ray. Quiet Ray is hearing things, and he got involved with Bill in this episode, so that's gonna be interesting to see. Bill ends up joining Dwight's gang to get the bourbon back. We see a lot more screen time as well with Mark Margaret in this episode, who's doing her interactions and doing her little business with Cal Thresher, but in a sense of trying to help Dwight out as well. So Cal Thresher got more involved in this episode. The writing for him barely being in this episode, you can just feel his scenario. But man, this episode was just very intense on just seeing these characters go at it on screen. Very good from everybody. So yeah, even Margaret did a good job. And we also see Mitch, who is doing his thing as well, get a lot more screen time. And you could just see how the gang in this episode with the writing as well is back in order and it's back online. The writing just made a lot of the stuff just look like a checkers versus chess type of perspective. When you seen like Tyson do his stuff, it's like a checkers game with him. But then when you see Bill, Dwight talking to Dunmire, very, very insane chess game that they're playing with each other. What an episode. Dwight gets his bourbon back. Dunmire is in this episode, very wild lines that he has in this episode too, that just shows his insanity of a boss that he is. The costume design was great. The camera direction is doing great on different angles in this episode, where overall showing like kind of the land of where these people are going at in this episode. And I honestly like that too. That stripper that Tyson was with, we find out that she is on Cole's side, the Dunmire side, and don't like that stripper girl at all no more. I honestly was kind of proud of Tyson to get that lap dance, but grimy female for sure. Cole go through his scenarios in this episode, very, very wild. This was top tier roller coaster rush. This was exactly what you want from the Tulsa King show to do. Agent Musso, going back to him real quick, he was in this episode, but it was very limited. That limited screen time actually fit this episode and actually fit the direction of what I think his character should be. The centerpiece of Dwight opening and being on this bourbon journey. Man, what a lot of crazy stuff that we're seeing from not only his gang, jealous other bosses, and even the rival bosses too, which is very, very insane. You do see blood in this episode. You do see a lot of arguments. You see a lot of confrontation. It was a little weird seeing the AI stuff in this episode. It's an adjustment thing for me, so let's see how that plays out. A lot of the lines in that scene are actually kind of showing the direction on how awkward it kind of is, you know, going the AI way. But yeah, that was the episode. Let's see how episode 5 ends up playing out. Very excited to see how the rush is going to continue, because that's literally all I'm looking for is this crazy Tulsa King rush. Glad that they didn't have back-to-back air filler episodes. After my watching the 3rd season, episode 4 of Tulsa King, Staring Down the Barrel, out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this episode a 8 out of 10. So that's my review for the 3rd season, episode 4 of Tulsa King, Staring Down the Barrel. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.